Are you sick of confusing piecemeal policies that segregate some students from others, like segregation, exclusion, integration? Are you left scratching your head when it comes to your role as a teacher in the province of Nova Scotia? Have you been wondering how best to support all learners and school community members? Well, look no further. Introducing the Department of Education and Early Childhood Department's state-of-the-art Nova Scotia Inclusive Education Policy. Move over 2008 Special Education Policy. There's a new, more inclusive sheriff in town. This inclusive education policy can be found on the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development's website and was created in response to a recommendation from the Commission on Inclusive Education and was approved in August of 2019 while coming into effect in September 2020. The government worked with Dr. Gordon Porter, Inclusive Education Canada, along with teachers and more than 150 individual stakeholder groups to develop the policy. Schools will be able to access professional development to support their work on inclusion and student equity. But Caitlin, what does this policy set out to do? The Inclusive Education Policy objective is to ensure every student has access to an equitable and high-quality education that is culturally and linguistically responsive, accepting, and respectful in supporting and valuing their learning and diverse abilities. Yes, you heard it right. This policy has it all. And you guessed it, the more you use it, the more inclusive your practice will be. But Caitlin, who is this policy for? The Nova Scotia Inclusive Education Policy is for students, parents, guardians, and families, employees of the public education system, teachers, learning support teachers, school administrators, teaching support teams, student planning teams, regional centers for education and CSAP, and the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development. In short, this policy is for you and everyone you know. But Caitlin, what is the point of the policy? You can think of the policy like a framework that provides clear, constant direction with respect to inclusive education and equitable practices in public schools. In time, this policy will be supported by policies, guidelines, and procedures to assist in its implementation. For example, this policy provided direction to last year's call to value Black student lives so they can fulfill their promise and potential. But wait, there's more. This state-of-the-art 10-page document is divided into 8 easy sections and a bonus section. You'll find the introduction, policy statement, policy objective, guiding principles, directives, roles and responsibilities, monitoring, application, and special thanks. Here are some highlights of the Nova Scotia Inclusive Education Policy. You're going to get students first, students at the center, and a focus on community building, and a holistic approach and a focus on social emotional well-being, and a focus on historically marginalized students. But that's not all. You're also going to get collaboration at all levels and new support teams. Now for testimonial. The Nova Scotia Inclusive Education Policy has completely changed the way I approach my practice. As a new teacher, I felt like I was just making things up as I went along. There was no framework for supporting all students and what was expected of me. Although the rollout for this policy has gotten off to a rough start, I will be using it to coach and support my teacher colleagues and students in the fall. I plan on going over this section on teacher roles and new teams with each person individually. It is essential that all members of the school community, students included, become very familiar with this policy as it pertains and is the key to the success of everyone. There is a real cultural shift underway when it comes to inclusion, and although the change will be slow, my sleeves are rolled up and I'm ready to get to work. With the Nova Scotia Inclusive Education Policy, your classroom and school can go from this to this. Thank you.